and effective ways to address it in Nigeria's electoral process. We will discuss strategies for mitigating risk, promoting digital literacy, and ensuring the integrity of our elections. This panel of experts and all of us together in a robust and informed manner, we will try to seek solutions to safeguard Nigeria's democracy. As I told you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we use this platform to contribute to a debate on any pressing national issue and ensure that we prefer solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, for today's discourse, we have a distinguished Nigerian, outstanding university administrator, decent public affairs analyst, and decent public intellectual. I present to you the third Vice Chancellor, University of Ibadan, Professor Abel Iduwolayinka, FAS. The chairman and moderator. I also recognize especially the third Vice Chancellor Administration of our university, Professor Peter Olamakede Olapigba. I also recognize specially, and through the chairman and moderator of this session, I recognize ASU, University of Ibadan branch, the executive chairman. Okay, chairperson, sir. Dr. Afolabi, you are most welcome, sir. I also recognize especially one of our living legends in this university and this club, very distinguished Professor Olabode Lucas. I also recognize especially our father, another distinguished scientist, Professor Babatunde Ikotun. Okay, through our coordinator, the coordinator of this group, he said I should address you as an emeritus professor. Another round of applause for emeritus Professor Babatunde Ikotun, FAS. The chairman, sir, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I also recognize specially and present to this wonderful assembly the coordinator of our own group, the former registrar and chief executive officer, Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, Professor Segun Ajibuye. I did not say Bembeo. The chairman, sir, let me recognize in block all the members of the planning committee, wherever you are. Please kindly raise up your hand as we put our hands together for all of them. Yes, finally, before I hand over this microphone to the chairman and moderator of this edition, I recognize the president, our own president, University of Ibadan, Senior Staff Club worldwide, Dr. Femi Oyamake, being ably represented at this edition by the vice president of this club, Dr. Dauda Busari. To the table, sir. Are you one waju are you beluke? My name is Olatunji Oladejo, a member of the planning committee. No, I want the chairman. No, that's our tradition. Thank you, sir. Mr. Chairman, sir.
Thank you. I don't know your own title for this afternoon. I like to recognize the oldest living or oldest surviving former president of the club. Baba is sitting at the back because he's a student at the Institute of African Studies. Baba, Professor Nwagu, we recognize you, sir. And I use him as a point of contact to all the former presidents, the current president, and the future presidents of the club. Yeah, I think the program that we have been, the Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration, I recognize you, sir, before you determine my kata through the ASU chairman. I think well, I have a short write-off, but I think I can just speak to it. The truth is that anything about election affects the future of our country. I think the first time I voted was December 1976. It was not. It was a kind of local government election, and an uncle of mine contested as a councillor. Unfortunately, he was defeated because in the neighboring community they were more populous than us. So we accepted that we were overwhelmed because since it was a one-man, one vote. I tried to, since Professor Ajiboye told me that I was going to be chair of this event, and I felt I should even search, because I mean, all of us who are adults, if they ask us which election in Nigeria over the last 40 years has been the freest, I'm sure you are going to refer to the 1993 election. Then you can also Google it. And if they ask us which one was the worst, it was 2007, when Yaradua, who was even the beneficiary, accepted that it was not good enough. In some cases, people were still queuing to vote, but they were already declaring results. So the truth of the matter is, at times I think even as a country, we are very hard on ourselves, or maybe we are not. I mean, the mindset. The truth is that the country has really moved, as things have improved in terms of the electoral process. There was a time you were talking of a smart card, then Beavers, IRF. I think they had some election over the last weekend in Rivers State, in the Federal Capital Territory, and also in Kano. I mean, because I think the main thrust of this afternoon or evening's discussion has to do with AI. But how do you use AI when people are scratching ballot box? You know, I mean, the mindset, they are scratching ballot box. At times, I think we have to start from first principles. I'm happy the Dean of Social Science at the University of Lagos, the only university where Professor Adelaja is here. I think last year we organized a kind of a program for Professor Jinadu for his 80th birthday, and he invited me. So even though, and I think the issue of politics is too important to be left alone for the political scientists. So because all of us are going to be involved. I mean, there is a joke that I came across, not a joke, a quote that I came across sometimes ago, that politics to economics. Because everything you do has, even in the family, I mean, politics. Yeah, because after all, when you are in corporate, you are trying to distribute scarce resources. And that's why I think this gathering is very important. And like I said, our mindset is an issue. Because we want to win by hook or crook. And to me, whether you, I mean, and I think the best way to, if let's say we are 100 here, you say, okay, people on one side line up, people on the other side, you line up, you can count. But at times it's not always as straightforward as that. Yesterday, I listened to a program, the Vice Chancellor of Michael Okpara University of Agriculture in Ubudike. I think he's completing his term in the next few days. So they invited the former VC of Alice Equipment. In fact, Professor Obute forwarded part of excerpts from it on a UI platform about 30 minutes ago. I mean, if his own position was that Vice Chancellor should not be accept to be returning officers. To me, all of us are patriots. We see it as it should be a part of our national duty. I know that ASU has a position that they are not endorsing you to go and represent. You are not representing ASU. I mean, I've served on about 4 occasions. The only instance where I had problem was that they were still collecting the results. Then the outgoing governor, announced fake results on radio. I mean, I was afraid for my life. And my children are still very young, unfortunately. Yeah, he went to announce fake results on the State Broadcasting Corporation. And of course, the National Broadcasting Corporation clamped down on the radio station immediately. This was in 2018, if I remember correctly. So I think as a nation, progress has been made, but if we are still stuck in the past that people want to win, like the 2007 election that I refer to, as you can imagine, they nullified the election in Osun State. They nullified in Edo State and Ekiti. 3 states were nullified as a result of that 2007 election. I think even the presidential election, I think it was not even unanimous decision at the Supreme Court. I think it was like 4-3, just to confirm or to support the argument that that election was not particularly free and fair. But even in America, the elections are not always the cleanest. I think that was the time the running mate to Bill Clinton, when Bill Clinton was going to complete his tenure. Yeah, then there was problem in maybe Florida. Bush Jr. You know, so but there has been improvement. But again, you can only underestimate the Nigerian politician at your own peril. They can turn daylight to midnight. So what can you do? Like I said, a whole state governor, I asked them to announce fake results. when we are still collating results, what are you going to say? It has, to me, it's good that we have experts there, but the issue of artificial intelligence and the rest of it is just part of the whole scenario, the way I look at it. If they are not committed to free and fair election, then there is hardly anything the rest of us can do. I mean, violence is so much. That's why many of us will not bother to go and vote on election day, because we think there are no spare parts to human lives. I mean, it's not for me to preempt the experts that have been lined up. I think we just go ahead with the lead presentation, because she's also engaged somewhere else. She is going to be out only for 30 minutes, I understand. That's the first black female professor of computer science, Professor Adenike Oshofison. She was going to talk to us for about yes, but if you come to the high table, when Mrs. Oshofison leaves, she will come here. That's Professor Francis Ebukari. I'm older than him, but doesn't come in border. So that's his punishment. When Mama leaves, I think he has agreed to stand in. Professor Ebukari, you are recognized, sir. So I think you have the floor, man. You can sit down because you are an elder.
The chairman, the panelists, my colleagues, because I was once a lecturer in UI. And once a lecturer in UI, you belong to UI forever. The first thing I would just like to say is that most often times when we talk about the election, rigging and all of that, we only think about the end. We never talk about the beginning. But because from the beginning, that's when the day starts. And before election, what do we have? Voters registration. How many people register? How many people beavers come out at the end of the day? If you register and your beavers is not with you, there's nothing you can do. So how will AI either improve the registration process or hijack the election process? Then the campaign period, where people going up and down campaigning. I would like to say, because I don't have evidence, but I learned from grapevine that even most of the political parties, major political parties, floated the minor political parties. I'm not going to make. We have three major political parties: APC, PDP, and ADC. Even the ADC, there's a question mark. Who owns ADC? Is ADC owned by PDP or APC? Question mark. Then we also have what we call voting polling units. How many polling units? Who determines the number of polling units that we're going to have? We can use AI or whatever to determine that. But has that been done in Nigeria? Polling units are just done haphazardly, and it is also a means of rigging election. So rigging of election starts from the beginning, and most people do not take cognizance of it. I will use an example that I won't give you the entire scenario. When I went to collect my polling card in Ibadan, it was very easy for me to collect. But I found somebody very close to me. It was very difficult for that person to collect his voting card, even though we registered on the same day, the same polling voting. When I went to where we were supposed to collect, you know what they asked me? I said, "Shay, you have your own card, or you don't have your own card. What is your own business with the card of the other person?" So, if majority of people who are supposed to vote, they don't have the voting card, what's going to happen? So, election rigging is not on the election day. Election rigging starts from what? The beginning, and most of us do not think about the beginning. Then when you get to that election day itself, what do? You have to confirm your voter registration status. So all of us will go and stand and look at whether even if you have voting card and your status is not confirmed, will you vote? You will not vote. How is that one compiled. It has nothing to do with AI. Then you now go to the polling unit. You present your voter ID. You mark the ballot paper. That's manual. Nothing to do with AI or whatever. Then you submit into the ballot box. Then INEC officials count in the presence of the party agents, and INEC officials announce the results. Party agents are supposed to sign the result. Party agents, whom are they representing? That's another rigging area. They may be representing, they will tell you that they are representing ADC, and they will not be representing ADC. Then electronic transmission of the to INEC portal. This is the only place that all of us put our attention to. Every other procedure before, rigging has started, whether you like it or not. Now what I so found absorbed in the whole issue was the issue of real-time transmission and transmission of election. There is nowhere in the world where you have real-time transmission of any election result. When you talk about real-time, it means that you will sit in front of a computer, press, and immediately the thing counts where it's supposed to count. Do we have that? So when people start arguing, hey, it was real time, I just said these people are stupid. They don't know the meaning of real time. Real time, well, real time is a form of electronic transmission, but not all electronic transmissions are real time. There is nowhere in the world where you have real time transmission of election result. Anybody can challenge me, and I will also give you the answer. There is nothing like real time transmission of election results. Now, where the master rigging can come, where AI can also come in, is now in the electronic transmission. And when you transmit anything online, between where you are transmitting from the sender to the receiver, a lot of things can happen. Sometimes it may not even be because of rigging. When the transmission medium is not clean, when you have too much noise, it can, because when you transmit, everything is transmitted in zeros and ones, and it's very easy for 0 to change to 1 and 1 to change to 0. Very easy. So when people start shouting, I just laugh. It's because of, I don't know. So transmission, when you transmit, it depends on the medium you are transmitting through and how secure that transmission medium is. Not to talk about network failure in Nigeria all the time. Even when you are talking to somebody on phone, what happens? You won't hear each other again. Then sometimes the thing comes and then you start talking. What happens in between? Do you know? I keep telling anybody, when you talk on phone, you are sending message to the world. Don't believe that you are just talking to the person at the other end. Your message can go to anywhere in the world. Take it or leave it. Anything you don't want anybody to know, just call that person quietly to your room and talk to that person. Then I hope there is not even somebody listening to hear what you are saying. So then AI, well, for me, where AI plays a lot of role is a campaign where you have a lot of disinformation, a lot of fake news, deep fake news. Somebody said, okay, I think it was the register. He said when they posted something about him, he almost believed that he actually did the thing. Then he asked himself, when was I ever in this place? And the answer was no. So he said no. And this thing started a long time ago. It is not something that is new. All of us remember Dia prostrating in front of what? Not Abacha, that's Mustafa. That was fake. And I told people then that this is AI, and a lot of people did not believe me. But now, because when you look at that video, you will see a lot of dark shadows. But the thing has so improved today that for you to know what is real from what is not real is very, very difficult. AI will be used either constructively or negatively during election campaign. It can be used positively when if you are smart enough, or you are going to somewhere to campaign, you don't understand the language. AI can help you to translate into that particular language, and your voice will be as if you are the one talking. So the people will think, he understands our language. So that will be a plus for you. Negative side. Well, I argue a lot on the staff club platform. When some people just bring some things, and it's so with intelligence, that it is fake news. But people will start sending it back and forth. The last one that I was really angry was when they said Tinubu fell. I was in Germany or something. Turkey. Is it possible for a head of state, foreign head of state, walking alone on the street of another country, and there's nobody beside him? It's not possible. Technically, it is not possible. So I even expect some of us to, when we see some things, check, is this reasonable or is it not reasonable? AI, everybody get ready for either to be there to be annoyed or to have fun. You are going to have a lot of deep fake videos in it has already started, and it's going to be much more in 2027. Now let's go to transmission of the results. A lot of people queried the new electoral act, and they were saying, why did they sign the thing? Hey, because how many people read the review? And I'm going to read what is important in the review. He said, voters registration requirements. Acceptable documents for voter registrations are being narrowed to just 3: birth certificate, Nigerian passport, and NIN. Downloadable voters card. That is one improvement. You don't have to go to where? INEC office. You can download. But the question is, how many people who vote have the ability to download or capability to download? That's another question that we need to ask ourselves. Then we have electronic transmission of results. And they said where the network fails, then they use the collated paper. Let me tell you, the collated paper may even be more authentic than transmission one. Take it or leave it. The collated one may be more authentic than the one that has been transmitted, because a lot of things can happen during transmission. Some of them may even not have nothing to do with rigging of election, but I know rigging of election will be part of it. Then INEC portal. What's in the INEC portal? You see, in 2023, I won't mention any political party. I know a politician that took some of us, when I say some of us, my colleagues in the IT profession, to a country, I won't mention the name of country, how they are going to help him with INEC portal. That anything that goes into INEC portal will be changed. So when the result came, and one of them, unfortunately they didn't come to recruit me, but they decided to recruit somebody who's very close to me. And that one asked me, I said, did Lagbaja come to you? I said, for what? When he told me, I said, he will never dare do that. He said he came to him so that they can help this politician to rig election and find means of changing results in the INEC portal. So one day when all this wahala started coming, and one of them said, no, the thing in the INEC portal was not what was announced. I said, how did you know what was in INEC portal? Do you work in INEC? Or are you one of their IT personnel? I said, you know what you have just done, if I report you, you can go to prison. Yes. So when we think what's going on is mind-boggling, it is a fact that a lot of people tried to do it, to hack INEC portal. I can tell you categorically, because some people were taken outside Nigeria, trained to do it. And I know some of them. So, it is not only, so that one, AI can be used to do that a lot. So that's another point. So where is AI coming in now? Do you have AI when you go to complete? Nothing has to do with AI. So the problem is where AI can come in, and it has not, we have not started using that. We do not register online. Do we register online? No. Registration is not done online. And if at the point of registration you are being disenfranchised, there is nothing you can do. You just be grumbling. You just be grumbling. Then my emeritus VC just said he doesn't go out to vote because he doesn't want to be killed, or he's children are still young. People who go out to vote, they don't know anything about AI. Most of them, they have no knowledge of AI or what AI or what AI is not. Most people who vote, that the people whom all these things you are talking about does not affect them. It doesn't affect them. But me, no election has taken place in Nigeria since I became of age that I did not vote. Never. Yes, I'm telling you, there's no election. Once I became of age, I will always go out to vote. I will always go out to vote. Most of us seated here, you don't go out to vote at all. You only like to sit down at home and be criticizing AI. Election rigging starts from the beginning to the end. AI, the way AI will play a lot of role, I will tell you, is in the election campaign. It's going to play a lot of role, and in the transmission of the result. But before then even the transmission of the result, we don't have adequate what do we call it now, infrastructure to do a thorough transmission of results. Polling booths, how do we determine them? They don't anyhow. To say the truth, I try to tell you today that election rigging started a long time ago. I was born into a political family. I know that when some women are going into polling booths, when they go in pregnant, and when they come out, they have given birth. Exactly. So what I'm going to say is that we must begin, all of us, we must begin to have interest and start questioning the electoral process from the start, not the end result alone. AI will only play very big role in the campaign and in the what? Transmission of the result. Anything short of that, even if the result was transmitted properly, and a lot of people have been disenfranchised, so what's going to happen? The best candidate may not win. So I think at this point I will stop. And AI, sorry, is a software written by people, not by heavenly beings. Exactly. And whatever it is that you put, even in the counting of transmitting the result, there can be a lot of code included, and that code maybe say, okay, during this particular point in time, this aspect of the code will not be activated. When I was in the police system, I used to do a lot of work for them. And one time when I was struggling, I gave them my code because I was the one that wrote all the code, but they didn't know I already put a boo-boo in the code. So when I came back, they started to take the job from me. I said, I'm not the one. So I just started smiling. One morning, they ran the program. The thing worked perfectly. 2 minutes later, the thing just started generating 0000 because no result. So those are the kind of things that can happen. And that's why all of us, we must know exactly what it takes in an election, for election. It is not only one way period. As the ruling party is trying to rig, the opposition too is also what? Trying to rig. It was the opposition party that took people to somewhere to tell them how to hack into INEC server. So when you now point finger at one group, it is a lie. All of them are involved. The only party that I know are parties that are not funded by other people. I'm not even sure anymore because we don't know where he is now, whether it's in a APC or whether it's in a PDP. One leg in here, one leg there. I also learned that even our brother is still a member of Obi. He wants to be presidential candidate of ADC, but he's still in Labour. What do you say about that? So you see there are a lot of discrepancies going on. It is not just as simple as we all think. But when all of us get involved, and we begin to say, now, voters registration, how is it done? Query it. Let us know how it is done. Thumb printing. But all of you talking about real, what do you call it now? Real time, get it. There's nothing like that. Forget it. There's nothing like real time. And when I look at what Tinubu signed, for me, it's neither here nor there. All of them are going to do one thing or the other to do what? To rig. Rigging, it will be done by human being. Because it's the human being who will write the AI software to do the rigging. And it's the human being who can now write a counter to whatever they are doing. But all of us, you and I, must be actively involved from the start, not the end. Thank you.
So if all the parties, if all the parties are bent up, we have listened to the leader presenter. Okay. I think we have listened to. It's because of poor transmission. Transmission of my voice is not working. So we quickly move to the next speaker. It's a traditional ruler, the Otumba Fimogboye of Ojowo Ijebu Igbo, and it's dean of its own social sciences doesn't have D before it. Dean of Faculty of Social Sciences, not the social sciences, as it's written here, University of Lagos. There's only one faculty of D social sciences in Africa south of the Sahara, and that's in UI. So it's my pleasure to call my friend and brother, Professor Adilaja Odukoya. He's a professor of political science and dean of social sciences.
Good afternoon, everybody. Mr. Chairman, the lead speaker, respected co-panelists, my friends and brother at the University of Ibadan, my second home. It's actually, let me start on a note of congratulation. UI, whether we like it or not, is always leading. And yeah. And this is a very robust testimony to that. And doing this equally underscores the fact that our staff clubs are not just meant for beer, merriment. We actually meet here to actually cross-fertilize ideas and actually propose solutions to national and even global problems. So once again, I congratulate you. Yeah. I will want to start by the way of conclusion, so that you will not have gotten exhausted. By the time I got to my conclusion, I'll miss it out. So by the way of conclusion, AI will matter, and it matters. But AI will matter within context. And that context will be in the context of the existing power struggle, will be in the context of the relationship between people, will be in the context of legitimacy crisis, will be in the context of the struggle and the crisis of accumulation. will be in the context of the hegemony crisis between factions of the ruling class, both international and local. Until we understand this, then we have not started. That is my conclusion. Now, let's go to the meat of my intervention. AI and the 2027 general election. The fake, the deep, the reality, and the absurdity speaks to one single issue, and that is about democracy. And to that extent, we are already on a very strong and potentially false philosophical assumption that one, we have a democracy, and two, that democracy is even worth protecting. I say this is not so. When I see the whole argument, which Mama equally has entered there, on the issue of what do we call it, real life or dead life transmission of results, it's actually much of sand without sense in the whole democratic enterprise. And it is not for no reasons that Nigerians, when they speak from 1999 to date, their primary goal, objective, is to say, we want the dividend of democracy. And that resonates with the whole enterprise, with the whole essence of the social contract. The state should provide and protect security and welfare. And again, whether we have succeeded from 1999 to date is easily measurable. What is the cost of a bag of rice in 1999? What is it today? What was the exchange rate of naira to a dollar then? What is it today? What is the security situation then? What is it today? What was unemployment then? What is it today? Dudley Sear, defining development, says development speaks, you ask three questions. One, what is happening to unemployment? What is happening to inequality? What is happening to poverty? From 1999 to today, on those scale, have we succeeded? So, but again, we could look at our political actors. We could see how they have been succeeding on this. We know how poor many of them were, like short rats. In 1999, we know most of them are owners of banks, real estate, and now. So, what am I saying? What we have is we have now the whole enterprise, the whole fear about AI now is within the context of what I call democratic delusion. We've moved from illusion. We started with democratic illusion. Democratic illusion is at that point when we felt, oh, democracy is going to give us a Dorado, heaven and earth. We have now been deluded. We've seen that democracy is empty the way it is here. Because the question you ask yourself is, whose democracy are we even talking about? Who is the beneficiary? Who is it working for? Has democracy not turned to disempowerment? These are questions that within which we must examine this whole idea about AI or no AI. So, AI will matter once again, but it will only matter within the context of the existing power struggle. And AI is not an autonomous actor. That must equally be clear. AI is not an autonomous actor. AI is an amplifier. It will only amplify what is existing. And that was why I've gone to paint what is existing. What we have is a democracy of disempowerment and choiceless democracy. whether life transmission or death transmission or whatever of result, there is no democracy to defend. So what we will have at the end of the day, AI or no AI, is motion without movement, change without change. But let's go to the lecture proper as it was structured. AI, what are the realities on ground? The reality is that AI will matter and AI is being used. Mama established that. The Buhari, fake Buhari, Jubril Buhari is an example of AI. The 2003 election, we have AI where there was a very classic case of Atiku Abubakar with some of his friends and political allies said to be having meetings to rig election. There was one about Oshimole, sex, this thing and that. Several. And like Mama established, it actually predicted that we have always have it. And it's a global phenomenon. So, that is the reality. We are aware it is in use and it will be used. But the question you ask, why will it be used? Is it, and why the desperation for power? The desperation for power is that politics is the only business in town. Our political class are not out for service delivery. They are for primitive capital accumulation. And that resonates with the old age Nkrumah position. Seek ye first the political kingdom, and every other thing will be handed unto you. Wike is all over the town now. Who was it 15 years ago? But these guys get to power and became lord of the minors. They have all the money. Even our president once told us he's richer than his state. That is the absurdity. So, and that is why AI will matter. Because it is actually an instrument that they will leverage on for state capture. So that is that. So the reality is, and the institutions, and again too, I think before I even go to that, it's equally important to say the fear of AI is equally a result of our weak institutions. They are all the institutions and compromised institutions and desperate political actors. These are very fundamental. And so the institution, INEC, Nigerian Telecommunication Information, whatever, they are all aware of it. But what can they do? Are they not equally agents of people within and outside power? That is that. The fake. And it is equally very important for us to distinguish here, and that's where it becomes very interesting, between the fake and the deep fake. And that's why AI comes in. The fake is manipulation of facts. And it's actually mostly type and things like that. The deep fake is deep, I call it deep shit. Because, like the very good example that Mama gave of somebody that was even saying, is this not me? Even doubting. That's the danger about deep fake. Because you see, the deep fake attacks reality. The deep fake attack reality. It's not just manipulating facts. It's distorting and producing what does not exist. And it will not only, it will now make it difficult for people to even believe everything. And don't forget, we are operating within an institutional, within a political echo environment full of so much doubts. So, the deep fake, AI generated synthetic content don't need to be perfect. It only need to be sent into a population that is emotionally sympathetic to such message. That's all it needs. And the way it could be dispensed is so fast and things like that. And given the way we do things and institutional lethargy in the country and vested interest, reaction time may be too slow, if not non-existent. And before this is done, it will gain so much traction If you get so much tractions and there's so much destruction, will have a cost. So these are issues. And at the level of the absurdity, there's always this idea that AI will do everything. Like I've said, AI is only how did I put it the other time? An amplifier. It cannot act on its own. It's an amplifier. Again, there's equally the danger of over censorship. Because of AI will do this, they are using AI, and we have been seeing it. All this, they are social media, this thing, and things like that. So AI could equally give avenue for those in power to democratize authoritarianism, and that is the danger. And again, which equally works against the so-called democracy. And going beyond our borders, who actually controls the technology of AI? Is AI not another form of dependency? Does AI not provide opportunity to outsource cohesion? These are issues that must agitate our minds. I don't want to take too much time because I think we should engage some of this issue more. I have only said the template. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's the professor of both theoretical and practical politics and a philosopher. So we quickly move to Mr. Jimmy Fakoya, IT expert and consultant. 15 minutes also.
Thank you very much, sir. It's a great honor to be here. Kindly permit me to stand on existing protocols, but be that as it may, so that I can safely return back from where I've come. I want to respectfully honor my father. I don't want to call him my father-in-law, who is rightly seated there and who created the time to be here. That's the immediate past director of Institute of Education, Professor Adegbile. You are welcome, Daddy. Essentially, I'm supposed to look at this from an IT perspective, but then I'm privileged to have taken some political science courses in this university, and from that time I've been having some questions. So I find it a real privilege that rightly seated by my side is a political scientist who will be able to provide answers. Essentially, I recall that in a particular course there called Political Ideas, and then there is discussion on various political forms, socialism, democracy too was part of it. We were taught then by Professor Agbaje, and after his class on democracy, he asked us a question. Is there anybody having a question? I raised up my hand, and I asked Prof. I said, sir, with all humility, sir, going by your parameters of democracy, according to the Greeks and according to what you have taught us, will you ascribe the Nigerian state as a democratic one? In other words, going by the books, maybe at my level back then, it doesn't really seem it exactly fits in. Maybe it has fit in now. But then again, I'm hearing Prof talking about these unusual contexts. Then also, I followed through with what the lead speaker said. And of course, she noted emphatically that real time is not possible. But in my view, I would say real time is possible. Exactly. In this sense, for instance, we do banking transactions, and if we suddenly receive an unusual debit, or we give credits and the other person did not really get it, we have an expectation that when we do transactions, the receiver should get it almost immediately. But then again, just as again she said, there are noises and there are hitches. And when you look at the nature of election, it is very, very necessary that whatever is transmitted from whatever polling unit must actually be audited. To that extent, it is not going to be wise to say that election results are being displayed in real time. Let me now go further. AI, artificial intelligence, in my own humble view, I put it as an human language in a digital ecosystem that is driven by computational reality. And to that extent, again, talking about computational reality, it is human. And then again, we see that the AIs that we use, starting from maybe that we are most familiar with, Chat, GPT, and the likes, initially we see version 1.0, 2.0, now 5.0, and then of course many other AI variants coming, but each one of them is coming with a version, which means that there is always room for improvement and it is not perfect. Yet, let me try to demystify this AI thing as much as possible. Many of us use our phones to take pictures, but then we do say that some pictures, they do better on some phones than on the others. I think maybe products like Apple are having an edge in that regards. But after a while, with all the noise on I'm using 20 MP camera phone, I'm using 50 MP camera phone. At the end of the day, by the time you place it beside some 10 MP camera phones, it is not at par. So what is really happening behind the scene? It is that the bitmaps are being reduced to vectors. And those vectors are numbers, are alphabets. Now, there is a software or an application logic that is behind all of that. So in a way, what we are calling AI now is leveraging on all of that information. It is the codes that we are seeing on the pictures that are on our phone. It's not really a real self. They are just combination of codes. And with the combination of those codes, giving instruction to an app, it can always reproduce the codes, which means that if it is a picture of a human being, it will reproduce those codes to represent that person. So it gives a virtual reality. And then the virtual reality here, for instance, if you take so many still images together and put them in a sequential order, it becomes a motion picture. It becomes a video. So when the computer already, its system, it's having information of how a particular environment is to look like and of how different sets of people are to look like, the system can automatically recreate that impression with prompts. That basically is generative AI. Of course, AI is very, very powerful. In scenario clients, let me put it that way, with AI, you can actually instruct your vehicle to take you home or to take you to anywhere you are going. But in our context, more often, I see that it's going to be more of generative AI that is that we are interacting with. Now, again, we will observe, some of us might have observed that while we are discussing about something with others, not even searching for it now on our system, you will just see that there are related ads to what you are discussing. Now, that information is the information in your environment, which is supposed to be private, is no longer private. And so, the device you are using, in a way, is passing that information, and then, based on feedback, you are being given the right type of ad, the ad that is relevant to you. So, the ad is being personalized. In the same vein, it is actually possible for people to begin to get contents that are personalized. With basic profiling, what you do on your phone, the back-end people already know that, okay, you are a Christian, you are a Muslim, and this is your level of tolerance. And based on demographic information, it can actually be determined that people in this zone are less tolerant to this type of ideas. People in that XYZ zone are not tolerant at all to this type of ideas. If AI is to be used, unfortunately negatively, sensitive information can be passed across with it. For instance, assuming that it's just an assumption. It's just an assumption that let's assume that in a particular region in the country, the most respected prophet, let me put it that way, the most respected prophet is seen hanging with a lady. Even if the lady is the mother of Jesus, that is going to create immediate violence in that environment. Now, that violence can be used to create tension during election or near election. So in other words, using such type of information, voter participation is suppressed. Assuming that in our environment here, all of a sudden, we just saw maybe a video of one of the, let's say, the road transport chairman or what have you, making declarations to his comrades that this is what they should do, that is what they should do. Immediately, even before we confirm whether it is true or not, everybody is going to first of all adjust. Unfortunately, do we have the devices or the mechanism to immediately detect? These are concerns because it is possible that things like this are used towards the election. For instance, I could imagine maybe a nearby polling unit, and then the next thing we see is violence early in the morning on an election day. Well, I know maybe the northerners can go out, so, but as a Yoruba man, I know Yoruba men, they think twice. They will take their time. They will study the weather. And unfortunately, time has gone, and then again, voter participation is suppressed. So it is possible to use AI to suppress voter participation, although again, that is negative. And again, it can also be, like I said earlier, it can be used to drive hyper-personalized content. And those content, because they already know who we are, they have done our profiling, it can be used to boost or amplify our bias. That's the negative part of it. They already know that, okay, this is your view on this candidate. They can either use it to boost, your bias for that candidate, or begin to send content to you that makes you wonder whether that is the right candidate you should continue with. Let's imagine, for instance, that we should see a picture of our distinguished vice president, just an assumption really, maybe with Obasanjo, and then maybe with IBB, and then also Obi was sitting somewhere there. Everybody begins to do some sort of a calculation. What is this man doing in this type of gathering? Whereas it might have been AI generated. So AI can really actually create havoc. It can create falsehood. Then going beyond, people call it deepfakes. I call it true lies. I call it true lies. True lies. Because inside it, you see reality. Digitally, it is true, but physically, it is wrong. And with the level of computation, it is almost becoming impossible to use human eye to detect whether an image is actually false or not. And again, that then creates a problem for us, in the sense that even if a video or image is actually legit, is legitimate, the likelihood is that the people involved will just say, it is AI, don't disturb yourself. So we now don't even know what is true and what is false. So it creates erosion of trust. It can create voter suppression. it can, of course, as the one of my the panelists has spoken, it can amplify polarized content. But then I still see AI as a two-edged sword. There is a way my people put it where I come from. They will say, "Oyinbo to ṣe pencil, ona lo ṣe razor." And just as the lead panelist said, where some people are, putting up the program, some are also again trying to counter it. So it is very, very necessary for political parties to invest into AI mechanism. It's very, very necessary. Already, some studies are taking one of it in the US during the 2024 presidential election. And it was saying that using AI chatbots to, respond to people, they can more easily convince people than even human beings because they have wide knowledge of facts beyond what any human can actually, have. So they can be used in that regard. They can also be used for multilingual voter outreach, which was used in India last year. Their prime minister used an AI-powered tool that is called Bashini. So that during his campaign tours, speaking to people, they have already mastered this language using AI. So again, using this language, he's able to communicate to people in different languages at the same time. Voter registration and verification, AI also can be used in this regard. And as a matter of fact, it has to be used so that we can have an improved biometric identification system which can strengthen the voter identification and prevent duplicate registrations. And also it can help to improve the results reporting system and analysis that will take months, if not years, to process. In essence, let me just quickly conclude by saying that there's need for rapid response fact-checking, AI incident tracking, digital literacy campaigns, and this one might be a proposal for the government. I think there may be need for legislation requiring large content service provider to use AI algorithm to badge the AI level of contents on their platform. So if any content is coming, for instance, on Twitter, on Facebook, on WhatsApp, they should be able to create a mechanism to detect to what level of AI is inside that content. With that one, whatever sort of video is posted, at least we see a badge giving us a caution or giving us an advice that this is likely to be AI and to this extent. So I think that would be very, very, very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, we have listened to, you have to go, okay. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, you want to make a short remark. After, immediately she steps out, the Right Honorable Francis Obokari will come here.
Well, I will start to say that real-time voting is not feasible. He mentioned bank transfer. Where do you do all this transfer from? From your phone. And your phone is a digital device. So if you are going to have real-time, then the election will start from digital device from the onset. That's where I came from. So forget about it. And I spoke in the context of Nigeria, the Nigeria situation, not the America situation or the India situation. AI cannot survive without data. Am I lying? And you need real, authentic data. Do we have database in Nigeria? I can go to my hometown during governorship election, register in Akure, and come back to Ibadan to vote for governorship election. Come back to Ibadan, register in Ibadan. The same person, and I may have two whatever. Do you have a database to say that we uniquely identify a Nigerian? We don't. So you see, that's the issue I'm coming from. I talk in the context of Nigeria, not in the context of anywhere else. So those are all the things that we need to put in place in Nigeria. AI will not survive without a good database. No data, no AI, forget it. Even, sorry, in UI, do we have data? I remembered that my inaugural lecture was what? Transforming data dust to data gold. We have data lying all over the place, and nobody is capturing them. And I'm going to say one thing, even though we are talking about election. Please, when you get funding from abroad, and they said at the end of the day, the data you collect belongs to that funding organization, please don't take that fund. Please do not, because it is a second form of what do you call it, slavery, and it's going to be worse than the first slavery. Thank you very much. I have to thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Professor Ebokare, please, over to you. And you will sit here now to the end of the program. Is it AI?
Thank you, ma. Corruption is a human. It's human. It's everywhere. Even though I am an idealist, I don't deceive myself. Thank you, Chair Egbon. Yes, please. I will be very brief, because I'll just be responding to a perceived gap. And I want to announce myself that I do AI business as well, in case you know any political party that needs an AI consultant. I think one of the issues about real-time transmission, anything is possible. You can have real-time transmission. But election administration is different from transmission. So the process of verification and so on all build trust. You don't want to hand those ones over to what do you call it? So technically speaking, what Mr. Fakoya has said is possible. Technically speaking, whether it is desirable or feasible is another matter. So the computer scientist was responding not to what Mr. Fakoya was saying. But I think there are two pictures here. One is a positive one is a negative one. I will just give you just a few positive things about using AI for election. Voter registration assistance. If you use AI, you do a lot better, because you can use chatbots to communicate with those registering about deadlines. You can give them political information, and this is INEC using chatbots. Then you have accessibility to disabled people. You can have AI assistants who will also be able to respond to disabled people. So it's not just about transmission of information. And then I also think that when people talk about AI, we are just mystifying things. AI is not sentient. AI has no mind of its own. It is what we tell it to do that it does. And all the problem of human beings, AI is our good servant. So that's then the issue of translation in a multilingual setting like Nigeria. We can easily resolve the issue of communication, election communication, and mobilization. And this is INEC using it to further its own work. Then we can also use it to detect disinformation. Now, let me also give you one thing. Example that was given: somebody going to telling a lie with his about location, or going to one location, changing to another location, or giving false prints. You can, within seconds, AI will detect inconsistencies in data, voters registration, to detect manipulations of biometric data, and you can easily clean up your registration by using AI and so on. So the point basically is that there are advantages. Cyber security monitoring, even the issue of hacking, you can use AI to detect unusual activities that are affecting voting, and then also to analyze the outcome of voting. You will discover irregularities and then of course the human beings will have to take a decision to see whether these irregularities are and so on are there. There's sentiment analysis. You can use AI to do sentiment analysis. And then, of course, we can use it to debate policies and policy summaries. Sometimes a whole political party will come up with their programs, and with big, you can reduce it to 1 or 2 pages to enable you to understand the policies of this political party. Then the negative things have been talked about, deepfake. I don't want to go back about that. Automated disinformation campaign and all those stuff. Then micro-targeted manipulation, according to Mr. Fakoya. Suppression messaging, which is very, but we're always focusing too much on what is wrong, not what is positive. And I think we want to change that. Then fake grassroots movement is astroturfing. You can create a movement of people, and you know, in Nigeria we always talk about people for Obi. You can have 1,000 such groups. 1 million man march can also be amplified. You can have a special support group for APC and so on and so forth. These are just issues that you can do. Then fake grassroots movement, I said. Voice cloning. This can easily be done. You can clone my former VC's voice, where he's discussing with Wike on how to. So, then of course, one issue is the biased algorithms. You can have, I mean, we see it all the time that there are biased algorithms. If you're a researcher, you know. If you go on GPT, you know what kinds of. I have tried to get GPT to accept certain things that I've written. It will delete it. So there are bias everywhere, and then data privacy violations, which is very, and then erosion of public trust. So the point basically is that we must focus on the good and the bad. Whatever is bad is because human beings want it to be bad. They want to manipulate it. And like our political scientists have said, we are in a struggle. The only business today that is thriving is government business. If you are not in government, you are out of business. So, yeah, politics is the most, the largest employer of labor today is politics. And let us not deceive ourselves. We are all in this political game one way or the other. It's just that some people are into it for bottles of beer. Some are into it for puff-puff. Some are making really good money. And some are just shouting. And they are not really on ground to do anything. So we must accept that AI is here to serve us. And that AI is not anything. It doesn't do anything of its own. And this is just it's what we want it to do that it does. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we are doing well with time. It's about 5:20 now. Have you? Yeah, 5:20. So I'm supposed to start the next session at 5:16. So just 4 minutes behind schedule, which I think is fair enough. So how do we proceed? Like, how many questions? As many as we can go. Okay. We take a few questions, then we allow the people here to respond. You can use AI. Okay. Okay, DVC admin, then Age Before Beauty, the former president of the club.
Thank you very much, Chair, Moderator, and of course our speakers. Mine is not really a direct question, but thank you very much. Well, thank you very much, Chairman and Moderator, and of course our speakers. Mine is not more of a question, but a comment and all that. I think a major controversy here is on transmission. But the question is, what transmission are we talking about? Because a lot of people are talking and it's as if they do not understand what they are talking about, even online and all that. Are we talking of real-time transmission of results or real-time transmission of votes? Now, what is a result in an election? It means people have voted and you have counted, you have recorded, and then you are transmitting. Is that real time? Is that real time? That is not real time, because the polls open probably 8 a.m. And of course the law says the poll must close at so time, after which collation starts right there. Party agents are there. Then the ballots are sorted, and then they are counted, and then they are recorded, an agent will sign and all of that. So if there's going to be any transmission at all, it is the final thing, result that is transmitted. But when you see argument online, about talking of real time, I ask the question, is it real time votes or real time result? If it's result, it cannot be transmitted real time. But if you are talking of real time transmission of vote, it also means that we'll be talking of electronic voting. Have we started that? So I think we should take all of this into consideration. So it's only electronic voting that can be transmitted, and not even when people begin to say in better climes. I said even the US we are talking about. Some people still post their ballots by surface mail, and they wait for 2 weeks before they can. So I think we need to actually dimension what we are actually talking about. You see, finally, when we see these contestations online and all of that, it's funny because it's as if people who are arguing even online, they are partisan too. So when we are talking even of rigging, those who are supporting one party, it is not because they are looking for free fair election. They are looking for advantage for whoever they are supporting. So the contestation is actually not, the ruling party, why are you rigging? It is about, why are you out-rigging me? So even this issue of AI that we are talking about, we need to really look even on Senior Staff Club platform, when we see engagement, we can know the position from which people are coming from. Even you are Kada, so they are not free agents anyway. So I think we need to really dimension what exactly we want and what exactly we are talking about. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Does he want me to talk? Well, please allow me to give general comment before my question. I started monitoring election in Nigeria in 1954. Yes. When I followed my grandfather to Elisha Grammar School during the federal election of 1954, I carried his umbrella to follow him. And I can say without any contradiction about my time of retirement. Yeah. I've already retired. So I can say without any sane contradiction that elections held before independence were a little, at least freer than the one we did after independence. The first election we did after independence was the federal election of 1964, and that's what brought Nigeria to grief. You remember the election, UPGA and NNA. Not to talk of the 1965 election. AI or no AI, because of our temperament, we cannot get free and fair election in Nigeria. I'm sorry if I'm a bit pessimistic. The same thing with census. You will always say I am a monument. I took part in 1963 census. It was never, I know what I saw. So our temperament does not, as the political scientist said, does not conform to democracy. Let us tell ourselves the home truth. No matter whether it's electronic or whether it's not electronic, we can never get a free and fair election in Nigeria. Because people are not honest. People are not honest. Because when you get this party, you win election, you are in El Dorado. So this is what I'm saying. But my question now, sir, me and Mrs. Officer has left. I want any panel to tell me why we consistently have low voters turnout every time. And I have my reason for that. When people were registering, they loaded people. They bring all sorts of people to come and register. Some people can register for 10 times. But Beavers has make this thing obligatory. So we are having only 15% to 20%, and if we say it is voters apathy, it is not. In fact, it is even reflected on our own bloated population. We are not 200 million. Don't let us tell ourselves home truth. We are not 200 million. The same thing, the voters registration we are is fake. Quote me anywhere. I'm 81 years old. So the second question, Mr. Dr. Fakoy, I'm sorry. Well, you say that AI can be used to suppress voters registration. Am I calling you correct? Please, I want explanation on that. So, and I want any of you, especially the political science, my good political science, to tell us why we consistently have low voters turnout. Because even the one they did in Abuja, I don't know, I'm not a political scientist, maybe. So this is my little contribution. So thank you, sir, for the opportunity. Let's get 2 or 3 more before KK. Tell us your name and address.
Thank you very much. I'm Karim Oke. People call me KK. Thank you very much. I think the Deputy Vice Chancellor had really hit the ball on the head. My take on the whole of this thing is that since we are not doing e-voting, why are we so cling to e-transmission, if not for very subjective reasons? I am of the opinion that what we need to first of all get voters better educated on how to make choices among several political, maybe we call it political allots that have paraded themselves around within the polity of Nigeria. Because in reality, APC, PDP, ADC, there is no distinction between any of the party, if you want to be very fair to ourselves. And if that is to be, if you are working from where the foundation is already very weak, we cannot achieve anything. So my own take would be, rather than dissipating so much energy on issue of AI issue, e-voting and everything, I think whatever AI you want to do should be used to actually clean up our voter register, mobilize people to register for elections, so that from there we can have a very good stand and get voters more educated in a way that they will be able to know how to make a credible choice. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I want to specifically appreciate the organizer of this program. Well, when we are talking of election, nobody is neutral. No matter what, you have your own bias. Adedibu of blessed memory, he said you cannot rig where you are not popular. And yes, he said you cannot rig where you are not popular. And it has reflected in the pattern of voting. You see underage voting in some places. I was in New York in 2011. We still have semblance of voting in the southwest. What they do there is allocation of votes. They say this is the total number of registered voters. This is our candidate. Allocate so to him, and it stands. Whether it is transmitted real time or no real time, the result will remain. Some of us have also been involved in collation of election. I am surprised when I see people magnifying the issue of crossing and rewriting results. So many of the so-called core members, when they bring their results to you, you have to cancel everything, because you are not supposed to tippex or erase. They ask you cancel and write the correct figure. So you can't but find such things. And this thing will be done in the presence of all the party agents. Yes, it is also possible that in some places all the party agents will belong to the same political party, because they will have bought over the agents of other parties. So we are talking of real-time transmission. What about vote buying? See and buy. They will ask you to snap. You vote, you snap your vote, you forward it to the platform that you are supposed to, before you go and collect. In 2023, there was no cash. Yes. We sat down there one evening. Somebody said, this vote, the election, there is no money to distribute. Another person said, which money are you looking for? Me, I have received a lot. Here. He said, I have received a lot. They were able to transfer to people before the day of election. So no matter what you are seeing as a collation officer, is what has been concluded the previous night. The major issue, Mama Uzofison mentioned it, and Baba Lucas buttressed it, is how reliable are our data. They will take a registration platform to politicians' house in front of the door. The man will be cooking for them. They will be recruiting people. At the end of the day, he will be the one to go and collect the voter's card. Some people will register 3, 4, 5 places and you collect money. So it is true that we don't have reliable data. So it's not possible. If you ask anybody, except people in this community, in town, 80% of people vote during election. You will see them. And yet we say vote apathy. 17% voted and 32%. Where are others? Yes, it's possible you migrate. Yes, we might have lost some people, but that cannot be of that magnitude. So I think what we should advocate for is a reliable data. We need it. Without reliable data, AI is a fluke. Thank you.
I think even the scenario you described, where somebody said he received a lot, I think somebody even went a step further in Ogun State. He created an ATM card loaded with money. Loaded with money. I said he was marking the birthday of his mother. Yes. He went to tribunal. I can't remember. He created a card. 2 billion naira. Yes. He loaded it with money. And people collected the money. So it has gone IT. I mean, gone viral. Yes, sir.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm a comrade Abiodun Bamigboye, known as Abitroski. I want to commend the organizer of this program, and I want to urge that we should ensure that it continues. Because personally, I've learned here today, especially from our, AI IT experts. And but I think I want to start by expressing my agreement with the positions of the lead discussant, starting from Mama, though in absentia, by saying that the election in Nigeria is actually rigged even before the election. And when we talk about that, it's not even about data. Even our electoral system is structured in such a way that all of us seated here has already been rigged out in the coming election. Because all the rights we have as Nigerians have been reduced to just a right to thumbprint. Your right to be voted for, as all of us here sitting speaking grammar, our right to be voted for has been taken away from us. It has been taken away from him. Why? Because all the political parties we have in Nigeria today is a party that is designed for the billionaires. If unfortunately, SPN has been taken off ballot. But the truth of the matter is that all the parties we have today, before you can stand as a candidate on any, you must be a billionaire. And if you are not a billionaire, you must be backed by a billionaire. And that person who is giving you money to buy from, to buy this, will also be expecting something in return. And that is why how you get to power determine what you do when you get there. And that is how the election fundamentally has been rigged even before the election. And aside that is the fact that even among those who are parading themselves, I won't call them harlots, as Prof called them, none of them is representing our interest. Comrade Daja said it. How many of them today is talking of free education? How many of them today is talking of addressing the housing crisis that is bedeviling our society? Today, people are now living under various, under bridge everywhere. Yet the government is demolishing, awarding public lands to themselves. And none of them is talking of job creation. We are in university today. I was in my department this evening, and the secretary said, thank God though, the very first time, in the recent time in UI, he met light when he got to work in the morning, and he's still seeing it when he's closing. And here we are producing first class in electrical engineering, and yet we still continue to face all of these crises that we are facing. So that is one of the problems that has characterized our electoral system. Under this arrangement, what is going to be the place of AI? Comrade Laja said it. It's going to be a tool for state capture. It's going to be a tool for state capture. Those who have a stronger IT expert will use it for them to capture state power. So anybody who is expecting that the AI today is going to transform electoral system in Nigeria such that in 2027 we are going to get election whereby it's going to be free and fair, as we always say, it's an illusion. It's not going to happen. So what I think should be one of our priority now as intelligentsia, Baba has asked a question. Why is it that the participation in election continue to reduce on daily basis? I disagree with Komamole that is about data that is over-exaggerated, that those who did not participate, that their number is not always as high as that. It is even more than that if it's adequately captured. In Ibadan North, which is the most recent election in Oyo State here, over 200 electorates are expected to participate in that election. The guy who won, who is representing this constituency in Abuja today, had a vote that is less than 20,000. Can that be called a legitimate representative? The answer is no. So, I think what should be, yes, I hope I'm protected, sir. Stand, sir. So, it's not, in rounding up, I want to propose that we should also be thinking of a similar forum like this, where we interrogate why the continuous reduction in participation in election in Nigeria, which I think is a dangerous sign, because to me it reflects a collapse in confidence in what we call democratic rules today, which I will call a civil rule, because from the elementary things we were taught in political science, democracy is meant to be the rule of majority. But can we say that we are having a rule of majority today when someone who is having a vote less than 20,000 is representing a population of over 200 people. So I feel that this, we should also be thinking of a forum like this where we are going to interrogate the question posed by Ba, why continuous reduction, apathy, participation in our electoral system in Nigeria. Thank you.
I think you cannot even plan without adequate data. You don't even know the population. You are not sure of the population. So it's difficult to talk of whether the turnout is at the back. Okay. We'll come back. I don't know where Baba, Professor Nwagu, I think we should allow him to talk. Professor Nwagu, you have the floor, sir, even though he has not indicated interest. Please give it to Baba Nwagu. He's the oldest of us here. You can see that, sir.
No, I will stand so that I will know what I'm doing. Please, thank you. Is this working? Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. The problem with me is a problem of a long time ago. Going back to 1966, because I always ask myself, how did we get into this kind of mess? Are we any better off now than we were in 1966 with the first school? So when I look at the first school, I was in Kuti Hall here. We were all here in 61 in the early 50s, early 60s. How did Nigeria get to be like this? Okay, we'll leave that. Then we'll come to Musu, option A4. My good friend, Desalu, he's Yoruba and Igbo. Come and see the two of us here over elections. You people won't make it. I said, we take it easy. Anyway, option A4 worked under the military. It was a military government that moving from going into Abiola and Tofa. That gave us option A4. Can't we go and use option A4 again? It's impossible. It is primitive. Yeah. What? Well, from what I'm doing in communication, use whatever system works to get what you are looking for. Whether it is primitive, secondary, tertiary, A1, A2, use it to get what you are looking for. So, sir, Mr. Chairman, when I think of the elections, what pains me most about Nigeria right now is that you can wake up, you're ADC or ADP today, tomorrow you're APC. After 2 months, you're IP. After another, we don't know who we are. Everybody is moving into AP. Are we going to be a one-party state? No, so election, APC, ADC, PDP, what's the difference? If I can go from one to the other anytime I want to, how do I know what we are doing? Who are we? Who are we? The governors are all joining APC. They said the Igbos will now go to APC. That's how they says he will kill me if we go to PDP. What is it now? I don't know which party it is. I'm enjoying his jokes a lot because he has seen Nigeria, well, a little bit more than, obviously more than I have, been close to Lagos, etc. But thank you, sir. You can see my worries, my fears, the problems, and for me, let's do option. Go on. They said they could not do. It was in Ibadan here. A big man, I've forgotten his name. When he stands there, the wife says, and the family, maybe about 20. If a guy is over there, do you think I'm going to go on that side? I've forgotten his name. You may know his name. So everybody will line up behind him. So option A4 may have his own, obviously will have his own problems. But let us find something for all of us so that all of us can be in it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I want to join others to appreciate the senior staff organizing this. It has actually opened one eyes further on whatever we're doing. Number one, I want to... Bumi Adegbe is my name, from Geology Department. My friend there raised the issue of we are being taking out our power to be voted are right. But you see, we have adopted a system that is expensive, whether we like it or not. Democracy is expensive. And we have decided to take into that. Whether we now modify it to suit ourselves, to suit our country, is another different thing. One of the modifications is what the military did in option A4. That one reduces the level of what you spend and everything. But then, if you agree that this is what we want, so be it. We need to look at it. Even Obama, when he wanted to contest in America, people contributed money, $2, $3. At the end of the day, when you look at the amount Obama spent for that election, it's running to billions of dollars in order to win. So it's expensive. That's number one. Number two, I noticed that in this country, when you are in the opposition, one of your duty is to run the system down. To make sure that you tell people that the system is not going to work. And when you tell people that the system is not going to work, at the end of the day, people will not come out. Then we resort back to voters' apathy. The current election in Abuja is a reflection of that. You run down the whole system. You said INEC is going to do this. INEC will not do the right thing. And people felt, why should I go out? Now, they voted. An election is about those who vote. We have not closed it. It's as the number of people that voted is what they are going to count. So if you have a population of 1 million and only 200,000 voted, it is the majority that will rule. And they will be ruling or the minority will be ruling the majority, whether we like it or not. So I think people need to know that they have to stop the kind of, calumny, the way they run the state institution down because you are not in power. They run it down and the thing affects us. And then let me now go back to Mama has left. This real-time voting and real-time electronic whatever, I don't understand. Because in this university, we do electronic voting. And I think that is a kind of a real-time voting. We stay in our offices. Before we go to the central senate there, everybody will be cleaned up. When you see an elderly professor, you just do. You may be there from morning till 12. But now we stay in the comfort of our offices. We do our voting. Your number comes out. You know what you have. And then the thing report there. What stopped this country doing that? Yes. Let's even start with the educated people. Look at the number of universities we have here in this country. Going to 250 now. If those who are there, lecturers, non-academics, everybody, if they can do this e-voting, it will reduce the congestion out there on that Saturday. Before the start of the election, maybe a week or 2 days, give them their number, let them use NIN, let us do our voting before the actual date. So it will reduce the number of, time wasting, all those things that are happening. But I think so far so good. Our e-voting on campus has actually worked. And we have been having things, nobody has ever gone to court anyway. So we believe that is okay. Thank you, sir.
Policy makers, they want things to even work. Because like that 1993 election, I think it was Abacha, my Babangida, that was in power. So it was not so committed, it was not too biased about the conduct of the election, even though he went ahead to annul it. And that was why it turned out to be a bit free and fair. But if you now fast forward to 2007, when the outgoing president said it was going to be do or die, he already told you that whether you like it or not, his party was going to win, either by hook or crook. I think the political scientists are here. And to me, I think the difference is very important. If you have a neutral umpire that is not interested that by hook or crook, he must be returned. His party must be returned to power. I think it makes some difference. I think we should give the panelists some time. Who will ballot? Who goes first? Okay.
Thank you very much, sirs. I think there is this question that how can AI suppress voters' participation? The use of AI is based on what already exists. For instance, we already know that nobody is going to go out if there is violence on an election day. So, AI can be used to create a news on violence. When you see it, you almost believe it. It suppresses your going out. It's also possible, for instance, if, for instance, we should see a video now showing these rude people, brandishing weapons, and then they say that they are somewhere already around that boo. I trust most of us will think twice before going out. So to that extent, AI can be used, but then it is falsehood. But then it has been used to achieve the intended purpose. Then talking about rigging.
Registration, voters registration,
in terms of voters registration, I did not say that AI can be used to suppress voters registration. Rather, it should even be used to enhance the registration process. Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Once again, it's been very interesting. The way I want to address the issue of is it rigging? What was the last thing? Sorry, sir. Yeah, there was the last thing. Yeah. Okay, sir, you gave the example. Anyway, let me just this thing. There's this very interesting quote by Alexander Pope about forms of government. Let food content. What is best administered? Yeah, there's this famous quote of Alexander Pope about forms of government. Let food content. What is best administered is the best. So, the human element is always very key. And that is why, at the end of the day, we're saying it's all about struggle. What is the interest of those who are in control? What is the interest of those who are struggling to take over? And what is the agency of the ordinary people? When you have a democracy that has disempowered the people, have excluded the people from the equation, what we are debating, what we are struggling for, whether that what do we call it? This live transmission is real time and things like that. We are only talking about privileging those who are oppressing us. The same class of people. Ultimately, we will still not get anything. And that goes to the question, why do we have low voters turnout? Simple. And it's actually a global problem in capitalist system. Electoral fatigue. People are tired of voting without power. And like we say in political science, power is the possibility to change the probability of outcome. Can we change the probability of outcome in this country? Have we been able to do that? And this thing is structural. It is the fallout of a dependent, decadent, peripheral capitalist system that has normalized poverty, that has made injustice normal, violence normal, insecure. Sincerely, let me conclude this way. All these things we see as failure is a form of governance. Because it enables them to achieve their purpose, primitive capitalist accumulation. And they don't need the people. Because it's a democracy without the people, it's a choiceless democracy. And when the people get delusion, they escape from a system that want them to continue to reinforce their own oppression. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. I think someone has said it before that we have an integrity deficit. And that I believe that heaven, the space for Nigeria in heaven will be sparsely populated. Because they were struggling for advantage, not for justice. So once you get to the point of advantage, you change your narratives. And that's basically what is going on in Nigeria. Today, the guy who is crying foul will get to the point of chopping, and as they say, enuto jedodo leso ododo. But I want to say that sometimes the issue of AI is we are alarmist, because a low resource system like ours without data, AI will also be burdened with the absence of data. So what AI can do in the absence of data like our own, it will also be AI will also be underperforming. It will also be limited. So because first of all, let me use my own discipline, linguistics. The language map of Nigeria is a frozen or still map. It does not show the nature of the Nigerian linguistic situation as we have it today. So the data we are using for planning is the data that no longer exists. It's a country that no longer exists. The parameters have changed, and we are unable to have a census that we can triangulate data. Where AI will work very well is that when you have reliable figures, reliable data that you can triangulate. You can clean up voter registration by triangulating with bank data, with NIN information, and so on. You can discover the data and see what is going on. So this is one of the things. The second issue is the problem of poor voter education. We are not doing very well at all. And this is where AI also can come in. What you people don't know is that grammar, I'm using the grammar for language, is the greatest problem of confusion in this country today. Because we speak different English, different Englishes. We are no longer converging in terms of our understanding and interpretation. So that when an Hausa person speaks, the Yoruba person understands differently, and vice versa. This is one of the fundamental causes of confusion in the country today. You will realize that when Buhari will speak Hausa, you will not have any headlines and defense about he saying one thing and the other. As a linguist, I look at misunderstandings that are coming out of English, and I realize that people are transliterating, and that in itself is a cause of confusion. So we can use AI to address some of these issues by ensuring that we are communicating with people in their various languages by using AI agents. So this is one very good area, but let us also be patient. And I think that's one of the problems that we have as a people. We've lost a sense of patience. And then because we are also always giving examples of systems that are unequal to our system. You talk about America, but if you are following the election issues in America today, you see the massive rigging that was done at the point in time. So it also tells you that there is a reduction in the value of the human being. The quality of humanity is falling all over the world. If you look at what Europeans are doing, you wonder whether these are the people who once colonized us. So and I think what is happening, basically, I want to, Mr. Chairman, to tie it to education. It is because the quality or the system of education is now turning us into robots. We are becoming automatons while AI is becoming human. So we are moving across direction. And what is happening? From liberal education, we went into functional education, and now we are having fractal education. Yeah, so we are now having fractal education. And what that means basically is that we are knowing so little of nothing, and that we are no longer able to function well. And that's when people get to that level, without language, without good knowledge, they are going to end up the way they are, the fiasco and chaos. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm really very happy that you have kept to time. I'm looking at the clock by the word. There's exactly 6 p.m. So all that is left is closing remarks and vote of thanks, and that will be done by the executive president. You are his godfather.
Well, can you please join me to give another round of applause to this team? See, yes, the president will speak last to close the meeting. But like when the opening was being done, the master of the ceremony actually appreciated the members of the committee. You can see that we are starting and we are starting well. We had the first edition last month, and this is the second edition. And I can assure you that the third edition for the month of March is already laid out. We have another person, we are going to be looking at security matters. And Professor Isaac Albert of the Institute is going to be here with another set of panelists. Yes, by the month of March. And by April, somebody sitting here is coming back, because he's been talking about the agglutinative nature of Nigerian languages. You know, somebody described Nigerian language among the, you know, we have Semitic languages. Somebody said those are languages that are good for development. But they classify our own as part of agglutinative language that is not good for development. So it's going to come here to continue to begin to analyze to us how we can turn this agglutinative language to become a language of development in the month of April. We are already laid all these things out. I want to assure you. And some of our people are supporting us. They are supporting us. Please, immediately after this, there will be drinks for participants to take. Yes, I can assure you of that. The president is doing well with his executive to support us. You can see the water, you can see some of the snacks we are taking. But also, we have some other people that are supporting us, so that people who attend these programs, they will be well taken care of. Once again, I want to appreciate you, Professor Idowola Yinka, for making our time. Professor Ebokare, when I was at the threshold of a crisis point, and my committee said, "What are you going to do?" I said, "Don't worry. I know somebody in AI. If I had wanted him to be the major speaker, I know that he can serve as that." President Gokare, I know he's been working. He's the immediate past or the current president of the open and distance learning in Nigeria. So he has been involved in all this. So we really appreciate you, sir. Well, going to Unilag to go and bring our dear friend, you know, you can see the political analysis. It took us to the classroom again for some of us who did political science. So we really appreciate you, Prof, for coming here. And then, you know, I think we've gotten the meat of what IT is all about here. It's not just sitting down to listen to the political component of it, but Jimmy, you are giving us the meat of what AI is all about. You know, we really appreciate you. We really appreciate you. Thank you very much. Once again, I want to thank every one of you. Month of March, last Wednesday, please just mark your calendar. Last Wednesday of every month, we'll be having our discourse. On this note, I want to hand over to the president of this club. Although the president has joined us, but the vice president, Professor Dr. Busari, the Aberuagba himself,
sir. Thank you so very much. We appreciate the organizers of these wonderful programs. I'm sure you don't know the effects of the program outside of the university. A lot of people have called to ask for the link to join the program. And I think we are not starting, we have started, and we are going to continue to do it. And so every month we will see improvement in our programs. We want to thank the panelists for coming today. From Mama, Mrs. Ochofison that has left, our IT expert, and the dean of the dean of social sciences, there is no D there. It's only University of Ibadan, the faculty of the social sciences. We want to thank you, sir, for coming, and we want to thank our emeritus vice chancellor for always being there for the club. And I'm sure that please let's have. Finally, I want to thank all the past presidents that are here. We want to ask that you continue to support the club. It's your club, and please continue to support it. I want to also appreciate the current president, who is doing wonderfully well for the club. In 2, 3, 4 months, you will see, I mean, magnificent changes that will happen to this club. So we appreciate you all for coming. Thank you so very much, sirs and Nas. The chairman of my union, Solidarity Forever, sir. Thank you so very much for the kata. We are enjoying it. Please don't let it stop. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.